We cannot get any high-power magnets without China. We cannot get high-power magnets go into your speakers in the audio system, your seats motors, your wiper motors, your door motors, and we can't make that stuff.
Friends, there is a video that I did yesterday. I think I was talking about what the new president said about Q3 coming, right? Or the catalyst that is coming end of Q3, which is the launch of NIO and the prototype of battery swapping station 5th gen being ready. And on that video, there is someone that shared me a link of what Ford is currently doing right now, or what is their comments based on what they are seeing into the fast growing EV space in China. And the comments are just so massive, man. I mean, I've been telling you that China is ahead of everyone, and people will come and obviously tell you otherwise, or will come and disagree with what you are saying. But here is the Ford CEO apparently, who was on an interview or being interviewed, saying that, look, China is many years ahead in the fast growing EV market, and what they are doing as Ford, the CEO is going to be taking or shipping some of these Chinese EV cars to the United States of America, and or deassemble the cars and understand how far, try to understand how far China EV market is when it comes to as compared to the US. He said, I mean, this interview which the Ford CEO apparently was being interviewed, he has made 6 trips already to China this year. He's concerned about the massive progress that China is making. And whilst President Trump is imposing tariffs onto Chinese EV makers to try thinking that he's slowing them down, China, it is advancing like crazy, because the technology, the AI that is onto the Chinese EV cars like NIO is out of this world. I mean, early this week, I showed you a video where the Envoy L90 was being doing final test, being voice controlled, opening the trunks and fronts and the doors of the car, trying to test the quality, or doing the last quality checks before the cars go out. This shows you that China is not only just building the cars that are of top quality, coming with good technology, but China is also, the factories that they are building these cars in, they are also quite advanced, and US does not see this as yet. I mean, Trump just recently signed a new beautiful bill that does not motivate really EV cars to flourish in China, but rather he is motivating that all cars, gas cars and hybrid cars, full EV cars, they should be on par, they should get the same benefits. But China is doing something completely different, which is what is making the, of course, Ford CEO to speak the way he's talking. He has made 6 trips already to China, and this is something that, of course, shows you how China has dominated the EV market. I remember one of the videos that I did yesterday, we were talking about China holds the market share, or 70% of new energy vehicle cars are being sold in China, which this honestly should be a very serious concern into the United States of America. But US is not seeing this. USA is choosing to ignore this. USA is choosing to waive off the tax benefit to EV cars, restricting Chinese EV makers to come or to penetrate the US market. Do you remember what President Putin said just about that? I mean, we can beat, or you can say a lot of, maybe you can say some bad stuff about Putin, but some of the things that he said are just facts, man. Some of the things that he said are just facts. And he said, or he commented saying that US closing doors to Chinese technologies, or the technology that comes from China, it's not doing them good at all, but rather what it's doing, it's making US companies to be so comfortable and not grow, allowing Chinese EV makers like NIO penetrating the US market. It's not going to kill the US market, but rather it's going to make the local car producers in China like Ford, like General Motors, and the others to obviously go in and want to push, obviously go in and spend a lot on R&D to try to catch up to the technology. And imagine now, because not many electric vehicle cars in China are present into the United States of America, this is leading into the Ford CEO literally buying those cars at an expensive price with 100% tariff and bring them to the United States of America so that they can deassemble them to try to see how far China has come with technology, which is something that is not good at all. I mean, when that video started, he said if it is at that point where they just have to get or rely onto China in order to see their also car industry grow, because they cannot get high power magnets without China. Do you realize what that means? This should really make, of course, the US to think otherwise, and maybe not think along the lines of treating China the way they are treating them, because I mean, the competition that is in China right now, you and me, or those that have been on this channel for quite some time, you will know that we talk about the technology, the developments that we are seeing coming from China, and it's just out of this world. And if that technology is not allowed to penetrate the US market, what's going to happen, as I've told you, it's going to make the US to be very much behind in terms of the fast growing EV space or the car industry itself, which simply means that the solution should be, or could be, to open up to China and make sure that maybe, of course, they can still implement tariffs, but not 100%, because with 100%, no EV Chinese maker will bring their cars into the US market, because they won't make a single dime or a single profit from that. This, my dear friends, it's something that once again shows us of how far China has become, and it is thanks to EV makers like NIO that have been launching massive technology, massive infrastructure, showing the world, not just China, that look, we are here in the game for the long term. I mean, had the previous administration under President Biden allowed China to come to penetrate the US market, I'm telling you, in terms of development, R&Ds, US would be somewhere already with their technology trying to catch up, because look, even if we are to pause there between the competition, or where the EV market is between China and US, just even on a personal level, if I don't have enough competition, let's say I'm on a race, I'm a sprinter, if I don't have competition, I don't think I get motivated to train even harder, right? Because I know I'm the best, right? But if there's competition, there's someone that comes who is wanting to run faster than me, or who is running faster than me, that takes me or pushes me to the edge of wanting to even do more, of practicing more, trying to gain or to get to the speed that surpasses my competitor. That's what usually happens, right? If there's no competition, there's no need to advance, there's no need to train hard, there's no need to build your muscles, right? But if there's competition, then that leads you into going to even massive exercise where you don't take break, because you know that you have to surpass that person. You have to be physically strong and come up with massive strategies to try to beat that new person who is faster than you, which is exactly what must happen. The US must open up to China, man. And the sooner they realize this, the better. I mean, we will wait, we'll hear what the CEO of Ford finds out when they deassemble some of the cars coming from China. Yeah, otherwise I remain strong onto NIO. And thanks again. I think it is good that I also mentioned the name of the person that shared that. I think it's the name of the guy, it's Guy Treatment. Thanks Guy Treatment for sharing this information, because this is very important. It's very, very important, not just to the US, but to the global market as a whole, to say that if you close off China, then unfortunately your country won't grow. In terms of technology, I mean, what happened on DeepSeek? China, US thought closing off the chips to be shipped into China will slow down the technology that comes from China. But look at what happened. DeepSeek was formed, which is something that shows you what happens when you try to also stop countries like China from developing, right? I mean, but I'll close by a statement again, which was said by President Putin, right? He said trying to stop China from advancing in terms of technology is it's compared to like trying to stop the sun from rising. It will never happen. China, with or without the US, the new energy vehicle market will boom. This is something that, of course, we are going to see. I remember when Trump was president, previously in his previous term, he said China EV market, he will slow down the growth. They will never beat the US. But right now, the US realizes that the way China is so far in the fast growing EV space, no one can stop them, and they are trying to make now China not to that, which is why the only solution they have right now is try to restrict the Chinese car as to penetrate the US market. I have said that, look, if Rivian, Lucid want to really test their products, let them ship them into China and see how many cars they'll be able to sell. If they are able to sell well in China, then they are good products. But if they're just comparing themselves with the products that are in the US only, I don't think that will give them a true reflection of where they are, because new energy vehicle market, 70% of new energy vehicle market is in China. And unless you go and take your new energy vehicle car to China, then you cannot really say, or you cannot really predict that EV companies that are coming from the US are that good. Tesla has proven itself in China. Though it's losing a market share, Tesla is fighting in China, still one of the biggest EV players in China, which is something that is pretty good. So yeah, man, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'll see you on the next one, my dear friends. That is all from me, and God bless you all.